joins us. Emmanuel Chibuzor, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining.
Good afternoon, Favor. Good afternoon, Lagos. Good to be on the show with you.
All right, Emmanuel, at the beginning of, before the tournament, some were passive, some were very optimistic that Nigeria would give a good account of themselves. But after the first match today, we saw Nigeria dispatch Madagascar on paper. They were favourites to actually go through. Now, we also saw Tunisia losing. So people also were surprised about that result to Cameroon. And now Nigeria come up again against Tunisia, a familiar foe, giving Nigeria a strong start against Madagascar. What adjustment do you think the Tigers need to do heading into that matchup against the North Africans?
After the first game, we saw them against Madagascar, and from the game itself, I was on the show that night at about 10 p.m. I observed some of the errors the guys made, which they have to correct, because the over-reliance on three-point shooting is going down. They took 24 three-pointers in that game, attempted, and they made only 6 of those, which was about less than 30% of the shots they attempted on the night. The most reliable shot in basketball is the mid-range shots. Your mid-range shot will work for you. Nigeria attempted about 32 two-pointers in that game, and they made more than 68% of those shots that day. So if your two-pointer, or they call it the mid-range, is going to work for you, go for it. Something else that was also coming to haunt them, they had 14 free throws, and they made only 7 of those, which accounted for 50% of the free throws they made on the night. So free throws are 3 points, you're able to convert them. Even the Madagascar converted more of theirs, about 95% of their free throws. Nigeria should also work on that. Defensively, Nigeria has a whole lot of guys who can do a lot of defensive work. Akobundu, one of the best players from that game, he plays his club football in Italy, Varese. He leads the team in their defensive steals and rebounds. Why for the man who even top scored for Nigeria, Caleb Agada, he was in the all-ball first team all defense in the last tournament that his team Al Ahly Tripoli won. He shows that beyond his offensive prowess, he also has a whole lot in his bag. He's averaging 2.3 steals per game. And the man on your screen, Stan Okoye, he had a career high in steals, 1.6 steals per game, playing for the Charlotte Hornets last season. He has come to Emmanuel Chibuzor in the Houston Rockets. Emmanuel Chibuzor is a coach who is known for his defensive ability. So I think going forward, defensively, we have guys who can do it. But offensively, if they can rely less on their three-point shooting, go more for the mid-range, except sure for it. But overall, I think these guys can make some adjustments. Tunisia, let's not forget the fact, they stopped us from going the double, repeating our championship in 2017. After we won in Luanda in 2015, they stopped us in that final in 2017. Even though I think the fault was from the NBBF. Ike Diogo was the MVP of that tournament, even though Nigeria did not win it. So there's a score to settle. They lost their 10-year unbeaten run, and they want to come back like a house on fire. So I think for Nigeria, if they can get this one off the board, I think they can start dreaming of something bigger. But I think I expect them from the remaining 2 games, Tunisia, Cameroon, to be able to get one off their belt.
All right. I mean, when you look at the history, I mean, you just made mention of history from Tunisia in 2015, also in 2017. The group stage, it's always been 2 against 1, 2 wins and 1 loss for the Tigers. Against the Tunisian side, like you mentioned, unbeaten run ended against Cameroon. And then Caleb Agada did say something after the match against Madagascar. He spoke about how the team is undersized and first game jitters. I mean, going into this game, how tough does it get or tougher does it get for Nigeria going against the Tunisian side? And should Nigerians be optimistic that they can grind out a result? I mean, considering all the mistakes and errors you mentioned that should be corrected going into the game.
Caleb Agada is a man who knows his basketball very well. Being undersized, yes. I mentioned nobody had any reason from the NBBF why Precious Achiuwa was not invited into this team. Achiuwa has the size, he has the presence. He plays in the New York Knicks. He's a man who has been there, done that from the Miami Heat to the Toronto Raptors, and now with the New York Knicks. Playing alongside the likes of Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. He has a whole lot of experience and presence around the paint. We don't have size, yes. Chimezie too also has the size. He's recuperating from injury, even though he now plays his basketball these days in FC Barcelona. And one of the prolific scorers we have, in fact, the player with the most points in a single game for Nigeria Tigers, Jordan Nwora, was not invited. Now, Gabe Vincent is free of injury. He's with the LA Lakers. He was not invited. Reasons best known to the NBBF and Coach Abdulrahman. So the size that Agada mentioned, he's spot on. We don't have the size. I mean, how do you know size matters? In terms of defensive block, protecting the rim, perimeter defending, and all of that. And let's not forget the fact that the game against Madagascar, we out-rebounded them 43-36. We out-assisted them. So when you meet a team that also has size, it might come back to haunt you. We stole the ball more than them. We had more blocks than them as well. So size matters a lot. So except the coach is going to find a way. Akombodu is the center. He can also play as a forward. Except the coach wants to use an undersized player to go play as a center. When we won the championship in 2015, we had big guys in that team. We had Alpha Rukaninu. He was a power forward. He can also play as a center. We had Olaseni Lawal, Shane Lawal. Even Alade Amino was there. Olumide Oyedeji, with his size, was also present in that team. Ike Joku could play as a forward and also play as a center. The team had size. They were not lacking in size. The MVP, Chamberlain Oguchi, was a 3-point masterpiece himself. But this time around, we don't have size, except the coach wants to find a way around it. Just Okoye, except we want to not play what they call the stretch 4. He can space the floor very well. A lot of teams in the NBA don't play with the number 5 or the center because they have to space the floor. If you are going to space the floor, it means you must have shooters who can shoot from anywhere around the perimeter. Without the center, do you show your shooters can reply very well? But overall, I expect the coach to have studied the Tunisians very well and come up with the tactics to make sure the size does not come out to haunt us.
All right. I mean, Emmanuel Chibuzor, you've broken it down like biscuit bone that we eat right here in Nigeria. But I would like to get your prediction and your thoughts. You've talked about the chances of Nigeria and Tunisia. What we must do to get a win. Do you think that we can actually get that win? Is it today, or we should just prepare for the last game, in the AfroBasket?
They can. They can win this game. You mentioned what's his name, Radhouane, who is not in this team. It can also work in our favor as well. And let's not forget the fact that the momentum for the D Tigers is still very high. From the last round of the qualifying for the AfroBasket to the opening game of this one, they camped here in Abuja. I saw them in training firsthand. No grade A friendly match for them to prepare. Even for the D Tigers, nobody's talking about that because they went all the way to win. But this time around, I think for the Tunisians, they are champions too. They've conquered Africa for a while. So right now, a battle of two former champions. Their team is very champions. Talking about Tunisia, Nigeria can win this game. While leaving to the last game, the Cameroonians are very physical, and that can come to play. For the Nigerians, the momentum is still high for them. For the Tunisians, they want to bounce back. So I think the coach will have to do something extraordinary for this game. Kill off this game. They can win this game, but we don't know the Tunisians that will come up. And if they cut down on their personal fouls, they had about 15 personal fouls in the last game. That may come back to haunt them as well.
All right, thank you very much to you, Emmanuel Chibuzor, for your quality analysis. We look forward to an exciting game between Nigeria and Tunisia. Thank you very much for joining.